Well, Jim, it feels like hell's going to freeze over before we ever meet Guiseley, but what were your thoughts on today's friendly?
Well, I think people were wondering why we were going to Guiseley for a pre-season friendly, and that's the reason. They're a team that's been up there. They've attracted really good quality conference players, a big physical team. I was really impressed with the way they tried to play as well. And what we needed, it was a really good workout for us, not just physically, mentally and tactically. So I'm really pleased with the workout we got, and pleased with some of the bits, but there's a load to work on.
A couple of players missing today. Daniel Powell, I think, has picked up a recurrence of his injury. Is he likely to be out for very long, do you think?
I think he's. It's one of them that he'll be fit for the start of the season, but obviously lack of training means he might not be match fit. But so we'll just have to, like last season, we'll just have to keep working really hard in training and get his minutes up, and get to a stage where we can be an impact sub. Alex Curran got a bang or a kick just as he rolled his ankle at Curzon, so as a precaution we left him out. So them two should be fit for the start of the season. No other injuries today. Maybe a dead leg with Dan Cowan and a couple of lads feeling the fatigue, but we wanted to try and stretch the lads as far as we could, and we've seen elements of fatigue in the performance. But no, like I said, we'll have all the players fit for the start of the season.
You mentioned Dan Cowan. It seemed like he was revelling in the left back role today. He seemed to have Kane Felix in his pocket and mopped up a number of attacks very effectively.
Yeah, well, the way they sort of tended to play, they got the both there. It was really impressive what they tried to do. Obviously, they got the centre half split. They got the two midfielders dropping right down, the two wing backs or full backs really high. And that rotation meant that our centre halves looked vulnerable to a ball over the shoulder. I think Dan and Keno looked a little bit suspect with the first 15 minutes, so I changed the shape and got Dan in. Rather than having four marking two and letting them dominate play, I decided to use Dan tucked in alongside Jordan and Ash, and let the Adam Thomas and Sam Minahan act as wing backs. So we had three marking two, and Dan's physical prowess, his speed, his turn of pace was more than a match for Kane Felix.
So we've got a couple more to go. Another try-out at National League North opposition. We're going to go to Altrincham on Tuesday, and then a chance to have a bit of a practice on the 3G surface at Hyde. How are you viewing those two?
No, well, I'm really looking forward to the Altrincham game. Another real challenge. I think they'll be contenders next year. They were last year for promotion, and I think the squad they've got, they've only gone and strengthened their squad. Brought in a couple of extra bodies, so they've kept most of last season's team, so it'll be a really good workout, especially if they use all of their players. Obviously from our perspective, we're trying to make sure that the 11 and the one or two that can be in the first team and play a part get the minutes. It's going to be a really good workout. I think we're going to have to learn the different types of strategies, like Curzon, when to press high, when to sink and consolidate and counter-attack, and I think I felt I had to do too much work today to recognise the issues for the team. So I think we're going to have to work on our tactical flexibility, and we'll be challenged by Altrincham. But we've always been really solid against them, had a goal scoring threat. I was pleased with the 2 goals we got, because when we changed shape, you could see that they were vulnerable to the 2v2 at the back, and we got both goals from that. I just thought that when they changed shape, we needed to manage it. So we've got loads of challenges coming up in the next couple of games. Hyde will be fairly competitive, right at the top end of the Everstick Prem. Astro would be good for us. I think when we played Harrogate last year, we'd been practicing on an Astro pitch for quite a while. Obviously with us being down at Manor Farm in August, we won't be on the Astro, so that's something that we can have a look at. But I think it's important our lads get a feel of a pitch like that. We'd like something a little bit more feel of a kind of a conference side. You know, if we'd been able to go to Macclesfield or Mansfield, it would have felt like Notts County. But like I said, it's another game, and like I said, disappointed with the goals today and how they came about, but they're little bits and pieces that we can work on in training. And like I said, the next 2 games will be really challenging for us. And in general terms, I was really pleased at the level of performance for the period of time that most of the players were on.
When we spoke a week ago at Curzon, you said that work was in hand to look at a possible couple of signings. What's the latest? there?
Yeah, like I said, we're constantly working at the challenge, because I know that a lot of our fans think this is the biggest issue for them at this stage, rather than looking at the 11 and how they're equipped themselves. I know that we need more strength and depth. I'd like to have the kind of squad that we had last year with 6 or 7 players that we could play in the first team and that we can rotate when we have a series of 3 games in 8 days. I'm confident that we'll have at least 1 loan player in next week, and we're getting to that stage of pre-season now where a lot more loan players are becoming available. A bit reluctant to overcommit to players on contract on high wages when the possibility of loans seems a lot more cost effective for us. So we're looking at 1 or 2 areas and 1 or 2 contingencies. So I'd expect by the time the season starts that we'll have a stronger squad than we had today in terms of the 17 players.
And finally, what a great sight it was to see names on the back of county shirts again, eh?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Like I said, I'm sure the lads are really, but their manager was a bit worried because he said, right, okay, that's your squad, but what's your first 11? And I said it's 1 to 11. And you know, like I said, it was a difficult game for Elliot with the tempo and of the midfield. But like I said, it's nice to have the names on the back. Obviously everybody's aware that we've given 12 to the 12th man. I think that's going to be really important, was in the league, and I think that's a respect to every fan that's supported us throughout the years to get us to this situation. So they'll be important. We'll need a 12th man, but more importantly we'll need 16, 17, 18 players firing on all cylinders when we kick off the season at home to Maidenhead.
Fantastic, Jim. Best luck for the next 2 games.
Thanks so much.